The earliest lists of 7 wonders of the ancient world were made more than 2,000 years ago by ancient Hellenic tourists. Except for the Great Pyramid of Giza, those wonders no longer exist. They were destroyed by earthquakes, fires, and, in one case, by an angry mob. Many other lists of amazing structures have been made since then. Here's a look at our list of the greatest man-made wonders of the world. Number 50. Registan Square. Arguably the most awesome single site in Central Asia, Registan is an iconic square flanked by 3 grand madrasas, each adorned with stunning mosaics, intricate tilework, and majestic domes. The 3 grand edifices are among the world's oldest preserved madrasas, anything older having been destroyed by Genghis Khan. The Registan, which translates to sandy place in Tajik, was medieval Samarkand's commercial center. The madrasas have taken their knocks over the years, courtesy of the earthquakes that frequently shake the region. That they are still standing is a testament to the incredible craftsmanship of their builders. Number 49. Sagrada Familia. Officially the Basilica de la Sagrada Familia, this famously opulent church in Barcelona is the brainchild of the renowned Catalan architect Antoni Gaudí. With work starting on the church back in 1882, 137 years later, the Sagrada still remains unfinished. It is expected that the building will be completed in 2026. Built in the Art Nouveau and Gothic styles, the fantastical church has an impressive 8 spires and 10 that are yet to be constructed. This amazing building draws crowds of tourists, with twisting turrets and surreal curves, while intriguing gargoyles make for something from another world and time entirely. Number 48. Potala Palace. Set in an absolutely epic location atop of a hill in the center of the Lhasa Valley, Potala Palace has long been one of the most important monuments in Tibet. One of the winter residences of the Dalai Lamas, the striking red and white palace was erected in 1649, although earlier versions have stood in the same spot since at least the 7th century. The colossal edifice contains over 10,000 shrines, with more than 200,000 statues thought to be dotted around its hallowed halls and ceremonial chambers. With towering mountains rising all around it, Potala Palace makes for an awe-inspiring sight and is an enduring symbol of Tibetan Buddhism. Number 47. Hoover Dam. A marvel of modern engineering, the humongous Hoover Dam blocks off the Black Canyon of the Colorado River and holds umpteen gallons of water behind its colossal concrete walls. Built back in the 30s during the Great Depression, it towers 726 feet in height, with exhibits and tours teaching you all about its incredible architecture. Now recognized as a National Historic Landmark, Hoover Dam has a profound impact on not just Las Vegas's development, but that of the country as a whole. Number 46. Meteora. Meaning elevated in Greek, Meteora is a jutting rock formation in northern Greece, a wild landscape made up of hill-like boulders that dominate the skyline. Part of what makes that magnificent landscape so amazing, however, are the monasteries that precariously cling to the rocks. Set on cliffs with staircases cut into the very stone itself, this religious site dates back to the 15th century, and some still welcome visitors to this day. The most famous of all, the Holy Trinity Monastery, perches an amazing 400 meters atop a natural rock tower and is a breathtaking sight to set eyes on. Number 45. Hiroshima Peace Memorial. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial is one of the world's most thought-provoking places to visit. A powerful symbol of peace, it is a somber reminder of the devastation caused by the atomic bomb attack of 1945. The memorial is made up of the remains of the Genbaku Dome. This is one of the few buildings in the city to survive the bombing. It also features the surrounding Peace Park. The surrounding park is a pleasant space to wander and features various monuments and sculptures dedicated to peace. Number 44. Dubrovnik Old Town. One of the most beautiful towns in Europe, Dubrovnik's Old Town is a red-roofed marvel that is asking to be explored. Its ancient city walls jut out to the Adriatic Sea, and its cobblestone streets hide a plethora of restaurants, bars, boutiques, and museums. Dating back to the 16th century, the stone walls boast Baroque churches and crumbling buildings. Built in 1573, Pile Gate marks the entrance to the Old Town with its remarkable Renaissance arches. It's particularly beautiful when lit up at night. The Dubrovnik cable car offers the opportunity to see the ancient streets of the city from above. Number 43. Tikal. With its gray temple tops protruding through the lush canopy of the Guatemalan jungle, catching a glimpse of the ruins of Tikal is something truly special. A popular day trip from Flores, these remote ruins are dotted with pyramids, temples, and palaces. One of the biggest archaeological sites in Mesoamerica, Tikal was the largest and most powerful of the Mayan cities around 600 AD. Don't miss the Temple of the Two-Headed Snake while you're here. As one of the tallest pre-Columbian structures in the Western Hemisphere, climbing to the top will treat you to incredible 360-degree views of the rainforest and beyond. Number 42. CN Tower. Located in the heart of downtown Toronto, the CN Tower is Canada's most recognizable icon. The communication tower was built from 1973 to 1976 by the railway company Canadian National, and standing 1,815 feet high, was the tallest structure in the world for over 30 years, until it was surpassed in height by the Burj Dubai. A glass elevator takes visitors up to where they can look out from behind glass windows or from an outside observing area through a metal screen. At night, the lights from distant Rochester in New York State are visible over the lake. Number 41. Brandenburg Gate. Built in the late 1700s, the Brandenburg Gate is the only surviving city gate of Berlin. The gate is in the western part of Berlin and marks the entrance to Unter den Linden. Used as one of the Berlin Wall crossings, the gate became a site of protest during the division of Germany and a place of celebration when the wall fell in 1989. Today, it is fully restored and is the symbol of not only the turbulent history of the region, but also the reunification of East and West Berlin. Number 40. Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. Rising majestically from manicured gardens and visible from the bridges joining Abu Dhabi Island to the mainland, the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque is an impressive welcome to the city. More than 90,000 tons of pure white marble from North Macedonia were used in its construction. With more than 80 marble domes on a roofline held aloft by 1,000 pillars and punctuated by 4 minarets, it's a masterpiece of modern Islamic architecture and design. Open to visitors of all faiths, it stands as a symbol of peace, tolerance, and cultural diversity. Number 39. Forbidden City. Ever since it was built in 1406, the Forbidden City has dominated and defined the center of Beijing. The imperial home of emperors from both the Ming and Qing dynasties, it was from here that they ruled over their extensive empire. Set over a considerable area protected by a high wall and wide moat, the palace complex encompasses some 980 different buildings. These showcase lots of impressive Chinese architecture, with the Hall of Supreme Harmony and Palace of Heavenly Purity just two of its must-see sites. Since the abdication of the last emperor in 1925, the Forbidden City has become one of the most important sites in the whole of China. Number 38. Christ the Redeemer. Perched atop the 2,330 feet high peak of Corcovado Peak in Rio de Janeiro, the statue of Cristo Redentor stands with arms outstretched, gazing serenely out over the city. Construction of the statue began in 1922 during the heyday of the Art Deco movement, and the concrete and soapstone statue is considered the largest statue designed in the genre in the world. Most visitors take a vertical cog train to reach the base of the summit. From there, visitors to the monument once had to climb hundreds of steps to reach the top. Today, elevators and escalators are available to shorten the trip. Number 37. Petronas Twin Towers. The Petronas Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur were once the world's tallest buildings before being surpassed in 2004 by Taipei 101. However, the towers are still the tallest twin buildings in the world. The 88-floor towers are constructed largely of reinforced concrete with a steel and glass facade designed to resemble motifs found in Islamic art, a reflection of Malaysia's Muslim religion. The observation deck is located on the 86th floor, featuring views above the clouds to test your courage. Then, walk the double-decked sky bridge that travels from one tower to another. Number 36. Pont du Gard. A magnificent engineering achievement, Pont du Gard is the most impressive section of a 50-kilometer-long aqueduct that was built to carry water to Nîmes in present-day France. Spanning the width of the Gardon River, it is the highest of all the Roman-era aqueduct bridges, with its 3 tiers of arches towering to 50 meters. Despite having been built all the way back in the 1st century AD, it is still very well preserved, as local lords used it as a toll bridge for centuries. Set in a scenic location, the Pont du Gard makes for some fantastic photos and is now a popular tourist attraction and important historical monument. Number 35. Sigiriya. Wannabe archaeologists need to put Sigiriya on their list of must-see places in Sri Lanka. This ancient city is built on a steep slope, topped by a plateau almost 600 feet high. This plateau is known as Lion's Rock, and it oversees the jungles below. The ancient rock fortress dates back to the 3rd century BC when it was a monastery. It was later turned into a royal residence. Access to the site is through staircases and rooms emanating from the lion's mouth. You'll also see ponds, gardens, and fountains. Locals consider the site the 8th wonder of the world. Number 34. Mount Rushmore. One of the most unique tourist attractions in the States, the majestic Mount Rushmore is visited by millions of tourists each year. Carved between 1927 and 1941 into the side of the mighty mount are the huge heads of 4 of the nation's most revered and respected presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. These famed figures respectively represent the nation's birth, growth, development, and preservation. At the National Memorial, you can not only gaze up in awe at the 18-meter-high sculptures, but also learn all about how they were carved and created at the site's visitor center. Number 33. Tower Bridge. Often mistakenly thought to be London Bridge, Tower Bridge is a late Victorian masterpiece showcasing the height of London standing on the world stage. Opened in 1894, the bridge crosses the Thames close to the Tower of London, another London landmark. The bridge itself is a drawbridge powered by engine rooms, which are located in the neo-Gothic North and South Towers, making this a feat of 19th century engineering. The bridge is still in use to this day and has even been modernized with lights that glimmer in the evening. Number 32. Pyramids of Meroe, Sudan. In the third and last capital of the Kushite kingdom in modern-day Sudan, more than 200 pyramids were constructed. Many remain standing today, sitting on the vast barren deserts as stunning ornaments to the past. The Kushite kingdom ruled over 3,000 years in the ancient lands of Nubia. These incredible pyramids offer inscribed stories that take you through an unheralded yet powerful and significant culture and kingdom. However, adding to the mystery, the Kushite script has yet to be deciphered, with our knowledge of their history stemming from historic Roman scrolls. Number 31. Santa Maria del Fiore. One of the most famous cathedrals in the world, Santa Maria del Fiore in Florence has awed and astounded onlookers ever since it was completed in 1436. Built using green, pink, and white marble, its gorgeous Gothic Revival facade features lots of fabulous statues and fine carvings, with 3 rose windows and 3 solid bronze doors set into it. Atop of the beautiful building is its colossal red-tiled dome, which is visible from all around the city. While the interior of the cathedral is quite barren in comparison with its extravagant exterior, there are still some beautiful artworks and tombs for visitors to admire. Number 30. Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Warriors are an impressive collection of thousands of life-size soldiers and horses. Located in Jian, China, there are around 600 underground pits dating back to the 3rd century BC. They were discovered by accident in the 1970s when locals were digging for a well point. While many remain unexcavated, 3 of these pits are open to the public and are enclosed within the Museum of the Terracotta Army. Apart from their sheer volume, what's interesting about these clay soldiers is that every single face is unique. They were hand-carved with individual features and took around 40 years of craftsmanship in total. Number 29. Wieliczka Salt Mine. Located on the outskirts of Krakow, the Wieliczka Salt Mine is an incredible place to visit. Opened in the 13th century, it was one of the longest and oldest operating salt mines until it closed in 2007. The site features an underground city all carved out of the rock salt, including a chapel that is said to have the best acoustics of any structure in Europe. Dozens of ancient sculptures carved from salt are augmented by new sculptures from contemporary artists. Number 28. Lalibela Churches. Built by King Lalibela to be the New Jerusalem, the city of Lalibela in the Ethiopian highlands is home to 11 incredible monolithic churches. These were hewn from the top down into living rock between the 7th and 13th centuries, with an intricate series of tunnels and passages connecting them. Of these, The Church of St. George is undoubtedly the most impressive, as it is so finely carved out of the mountainside. Set in the shape of a Greek cross, the church reaches a height of 40 feet, with amazing artworks found within its atmospheric interior. Number 27. Gardens by the Bay. Singapore's 21st Century Botanical Garden is a 101-hectare fantasy land of space-age biodomes, high-tech super trees, and whimsical sculptures. Open less than a decade, it is built on reclaimed land in central Singapore. The award-winning garden features futuristic tree-like structures up to 160 feet high that light up the night with a dazzling display. The Flower Dome, the largest glass greenhouse in the world, houses a diverse collection of plants from different climates, while the Cloud Forest showcases a misty, tropical mountain environment, complete with a 115-foot indoor waterfall. Number 26. Taj Mahal. Located in northern India, the Taj Mahal is an immense mausoleum of white marble, built by order of the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his favorite wife. The Taj is one of the most well-preserved tombs in the world and one of the masterpieces of Mughal architecture. Called a teardrop on the cheek of eternity, the monument is actually an integrated complex of structures. Besides the white-domed marble mausoleum, it includes several other beautiful buildings, reflecting pools, and extensive ornamental gardens with flowering trees and bushes. Number 25. Teotihuacan. A short distance from Mexico City is the ancient metropolis of Teotihuacan. Now an expansive archaeological site, the remaining pyramids live to tell the tale of a culture 2,000 years old. Those that called Teotihuacan home were a part of the world's biggest city at its height in the 1st century. They were around before the famous Aztecs and constructed multiple incredible pyramids. These structures are all that remain, yet they keep alive an ancient culture, its story, and religion. The Aztecs would embark on pilgrimages to visit what was known as the birthplace of the gods. Number 24. Sydney Opera House. Regarded as a 20th century architectural masterpiece, the Sydney Opera House was designed and built by architect Jarn Utzon to reflect the image of a huge sailing ship. It houses multiple venues that together host more than 1,500 performances each year. Surrounded by the beautiful scenery of the Sydney Harbour and the Royal Botanical Gardens, the famous Opera House in Sydney is one of Australia's most famous landmarks. Number 23. Tiger's Nest. Perched precariously on a cliffside some 900 meters above the floor of the Paro Valley, the Tiger's Nest is one of Bhutan's most sacred and spectacular sites. Made up of 4 main temples, it was founded in 1692 around the cave where an important Buddhist master is said to have meditated. The complex can only be reached by climbing up stone steps and paths cut into the cliff face, and by navigating the small, rickety wooden bridges that lie between them. From the monastery, you can enjoy incredible views over the valley and forest below, as well as learn more about Bhutan's rich Buddhist culture. Number 22. Mezquita of Cordoba. As the name indicates, the marvelous Mezquita of Cordoba was a mosque for a large part of its history. In 784, the Moors built a majestic mosque atop of what was a small Visigoth church, erecting a multitude of columns and arches. Coating the interiors were magnificent mosaics and ceramic tiles. Following the Reconquista, the mosque was converted into a Catholic church, and its minaret was turned into a bell tower. A sanctuary and home for both faiths over the centuries, the Mezquita is widely regarded as one of the most arresting examples of Moorish architecture around. Number 21. Moai statues. With the tallest weighing in over 80 tons, the Moai statues on Easter Island in Polynesia are iconic. In fact, you'll probably recognize them from a picture even if you hadn't heard of them. These 800-plus statues, most of which face away from the sea, were carved from volcanic ash by the Rapa Nui people somewhere between 400 and 1500 AD. Likely created using rudimentary basalt stone picks, each of these enormous monolithic statues would have taken close to a year to complete. There are many theories as to why they were built, including as a way to honor important clan ancestors, and because of a belief it would improve the soil. Number 20. Mont Saint-Michel. This famously fortified island is located around a kilometer off the northwestern shores of Normandy in France. Walking around Mont Saint-Michel might feel as if you had been transported back to another time. The monastery here dates back to the 8th century and is still in use today. The old walls and chapels are intriguing places to explore. At high tide, waters make the island seem as if it is a floating fortress in the sea. Previously only reachable by foot or car during low tide, the island can now be reached at any time on foot along a bridge built in 2014. Number 19. Karnak. The Karnak temple complex in Luxor, Egypt, is impressive due to its sheer size. Covering an area that's larger than most ancient cities, it's dotted with temples, obelisks, and shrines. It took over 2,000 years to build, and each Egyptian pharaoh left their own architectural mark. Walk through the Avenue of Sphinxes and discover the Great Hypostyle Hall. This enormous room filled with towering pylons and solid sandstone columns is one of the most famous and photographed attractions of ancient Egypt. While you're here, stop to admire the sacred lake and the nearby granite scarab. Number 18. Shwedagon Pagoda. The Shwedagon, or Greater Dragon Pagoda in Yangon, is considered the most sacred site in Buddhism in Myanmar because it contains a strand of Buddha's hair and other religious relics. The origins of Shwedagon are lost in antiquity, but it is estimated that the pagoda was first built by the Mon during the Bagan period, sometime between the 6th and 10th century AD. The temple complex is full of glittering, colorful stupas, but the center of attention is the 326 feet high main stupa that is completely covered in gold. Number 17. Peña Palace. Certainly the brightest wonder on this list, Peña Castle really is as unique as they come. Awash with color, the vivid yellows and reds of its walls shine forth from its prominent hilltop setting in the Sintra Mountains just outside of Lisbon. Completed in 1854 in a Romanticist style, its imaginative design is a joy to gaze upon, and the views from its ramparts and gardens aren't half bad either. Taking in all its fantastic features and exotic and extravagant architectural styles is sure to be one of the highlights of any trip to Portugal. Number 16. St. Peter's Basilica. Located in Vatican City, St. Peter's Basilica is the biggest church in the world and one of the most famous examples of Italian Renaissance architecture. Construction began on this monument in 1506, with one of the architects being none other than Michelangelo. This is where the Pope himself addresses the tens of thousands of worshippers who crowd the adjacent St. Peter's Square. The current basilica replaced the old St. Peter's Basilica, which stood in the same place from around 360 AD. The church itself is thought to be built over the tomb of St. Peter. Number 15. Prambanan Temple. Near Yogyakarta, the 10th century Prambanan Temple is a symbol of both grace and complexity. Arguably the most striking Hindu temple in Indonesia, the Prambanan Temple is an ode to 3 Hindu gods. The expensive complex features 3 main temples. The 2 smaller buildings are dedicated to Vishnu, the sustainer, and Brahma, the creator. But at its heart is the staggering Shiva Temple. It's a temple visible from a great distance, and one that was overtaken by nature after the fall of Java before being rediscovered in the 18th century. Number 14. Eiffel Tower. Named after Gustave Eiffel, the unmistakable symbol of Paris is a sight that must be witnessed when visiting the French capital. Constructed between 1887 and 1889, the tower was originally built to be the impressive entrance to the World's Fair. The tower stands at 324 meters tall and was amazingly the world's tallest man-made structure until the Empire State Building took the title in 1930. Take the lift all the way to the observation deck of the tower and marvel at the views of the Parisian boulevard and pattern of parks below. Number 13. Temple Mount. Venerated throughout the centuries by all three of the Abrahamic religions, Temple Mount lies at the heart of the Old City in Jerusalem. Containing the Dome of the Rock, it is the third most important site in Islam and the holiest site in Judaism. It is here that the first and second temples were erected, with the western wall being the last remaining part of the second temple. Wandering across the ancient limestone pavings of the huge cypress tree-fringed complex is a peaceful affair, despite the millennia of conflict that have plagued it. Number 12. Great Wall of China. Spreading through 15 Chinese provinces and autonomous regions, the Great Wall of China is the longest man-made structure in the world. It is made up of a series of separate sections of walls and moats that were built over the course of 6 Chinese dynasties as a defense from invaders. Now well over 2,000 years old, some parts of the wall have fallen into ruin. Interestingly, for those who wanted to attempt it, walking the entire length of the Great Wall of China would take approximately 18 months. Number 11. Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is a magnificent representation of the Incan civilization before the Spanish came. Nestled in the Peruvian Andes, Machu Picchu served as a palace for the emperor, a fortress, and as a site for religious ceremonies where human sacrifices were made to appease the gods. Untouched by the Spanish, the site was abandoned after the conquest, only to be discovered by an American professor in the early 1900s. Built from polished stones, the city is a fascinating example of classical Incan architecture. With its spectacular views, Machu Picchu is Peru's most visited tourist attraction. Number 10. Hagia Sophia. For almost 1,000 years, Hagia Sophia was the biggest cathedral in the world and is still a fantastic structure to set eyes on. Originally built as an Eastern Orthodox cathedral in 537, when Istanbul was named Constantinople, Hagia Sophia became an Ottoman mosque from 1453 and is today a museum for all faiths to enjoy. The dome of the Hagia Sophia is a marvel in itself, and the building as a whole perfectly reflective of Byzantine architecture. Walking around the building today, you can piece together the history of the city with its intriguing murals and interesting artifacts. Number 9. Empire State Building. Just about everyone who visits New York has the Empire State Building on their bucket list. It's a quintessential image of the world's most loved metropolis and might just be the most famous skyscraper on the planet. Its Art Deco design is a big part of its appeal. Completed in 1931, the Empire State Building was constructed as a symbol of ambition and architectural elegance in New York. The observation deck offers some of the best city views day and night, but its gilded lobby with aluminum accents is almost as impressive. Number 8. Petra. The Rose City of Petra is an ancient desert town that was carved out of pink sandstone cliffs by nomads thousands of years ago. Located in Jordan, tucked between the Red Sea and the Dead Sea, it's hard to believe this city was once filled with green gardens, palatial houses, and bustling markets. Instead, a walk or camel ride through the ruins of Petra will reveal abandoned caves, temples, and tombs hidden within the city walls. The two-story treasury carved into the rock face is one of the most beautiful landmarks in the Old City. It's worth viewing for the facade alone, but the interior, with its Indiana Jonesy royal tomb, is worth a look. Number 7. Santorini. The volcanic island of Santorini is probably one of the most recognized islands on Earth. Characterized by its whitewashed and blue-domed Cycladic towns hugging the caldera cliffs above the edge of the Aegean, this Greek island is world-famous for its enviable sunsets. Stroll through the alleyways of Ia Town, wine and dine at the gourmet tavernas, relax on the volcanic beaches, or sail off into the sunset on a glamorous catamaran cruise. As it's one of Greece's most expensive islands, you'll undoubtedly rub shoulders with the rich and famous. For its views and Mediterranean climate alone, Santorini is something special. Number 6. Ellora Caves. The Ellora Caves are made up of a series of caves, monasteries, and temples carved into the side of a basalt cliff. Out of 100 caves, only 34 are open to the public. Located in Maharashtra, India, Ellora dates back to 600 AD and took Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain monks over 5 centuries to craft. The highlight of the Ellora Caves is the Kailasa Temple, dedicated to Lord Shiva. It is the largest monolithic sculpture in the world. Other worthy sites include the large preaching Buddha in the Carpenter's Cave, so called because of the rock's resemblance to polished wood. Number 5. Panama Canal. Flowing 51 miles through the center of the country, the Panama Canal connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean using a series of canal locks. This human-made waterway was built in the early 1900s and is considered to be one of the most complex engineering projects of the last 150 years. The canal significantly reduces travel time for vessels, eliminating the need for the lengthy and treacherous route around South America's Cape Horn. A vital artery for international shipping, the Panama Canal stands as a testament to human ingenuity and continues to play a crucial role in global commerce and transportation. Number 4. Angkor. When it comes to archaeological sites, travelers won't want to miss Angkor in northern Cambodia. It contains some of the world's most important cultural remains. These include the enormous Angkor Wat Temple, the Bayon Temple with its multitude of massive stone faces, and Ta Prohm, a Buddhist temple ruin entwined with towering trees. Historically, Angkor served as the Khmer capital from the 9th to the 14th centuries, which influenced art throughout Southeast Asia. Many of the temples of Angkor have been restored, making it one of the wonders of the ancient world, while offering an outstanding look at Khmer history. Number 3. International Space Station. The International Space Station is one of humanity's most remote outposts. Space agencies around the world teamed up in the 1990s to construct this distant laboratory. Pieces of the station were built in different countries and launched into orbit around Earth some 250 miles above the surface. Astronauts aboard the ISS have about as much living and working space as you would find in a large house. There are 6 sleeping areas, 2 bathrooms, and a gym. There are also multiple spaces for conducting scientific research. Since the year 2000, the ISS has hosted nearly 300 people. Number 2. Colosseum. One of the most famous buildings ever constructed, the Colosseum almost needs no introduction. Lying in the heart of Rome, the enormous oval amphitheater is one of the Roman Empire's greatest architectural triumphs and remains standing almost 2,000 years after it was completed. While 3 stories of huge arcades make up its outer wall, its interior boasts fantastic views of the endless seating areas and subterranean network of tunnels and rooms, which used to lie beneath the arena's floor. Over the centuries, countless gladiatorial contests, animal hunts, and even mock sea battles took place in the amphitheater, which could hold up to 80,000 spectators. One of the most iconic symbols of Imperial Rome, the Colosseum is a must-see sight due to its awe-inspiring architecture, spectacular size, and historical importance. Number 1. Pyramids of Giza. Arguably the world's most famous landmark, the Pyramids of Giza lie on the outskirts of Cairo, looking out over the endless sands of the Sahara. The pyramids in Giza were built over the span of 3 generations during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is the oldest and sole remnant of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The pyramid is an awe-inspiring 455 feet high, making it the largest pyramid in Egypt, although nearby Khafre's pyramid appears to be larger as it is built at a higher elevation.